Chalk Talk with Coach Chris, Episode 1, Shape. In this episode, we'll discuss player positioning and team shape on the field, specifically covering kickoffs, goal kicks, corner kicks, throw-ins, and pressure cover. Okay, before we get started, I want to introduce everyone to a little program I like to use. It's called Tactical Pad. This is just like our magnet board that we use at practice and in games, where we can move the magnets around and see different situations on the field. Over here, we have our Union team in orange and black. We have our goalie in the back, our two backs, left and right, our left mid up here at the top, center mid in the middle, right mid down here at the bottom, and our striker or target player up top. This is our basic formation. We play a 2-3-1. We'll use this program throughout the video so I can show you guys the different shapes in different situations on the field. For this short video series, we're going to talk about corner kicks, goal kicks, throw-ins, our kickoff shape when we start the game, and after a goal is scored, and we start over with the ball, and just different situations where we had really good shape and some situations where our shape got us into big trouble. Okay, let's talk about the kickoff to start the game. Now, up until this point, we've never really discussed our shape on kickoffs. I think the standard, or what you guys are probably used to, is the target player or the striker, as you can see here in the video, has the ball at his feet, and then in this case, our center mid decided to check in, and they're probably just going to tap the ball forward and start play that way. This is how we start most games. We have our right mid and our left mid out wide, but they're pushed up to the midfield line as well. Our backs, you can't see them. They're off the screen here, but they're back here in like the center left and center right position. Now, the main issue with kicking the ball off like this is, as you can see, the other team, they have 3 players within 5 to 8 yards of the ball when we start. So once we kick this ball off here, we really don't have many options. Our right mid is tucked in tight here to the middle of the field, which doesn't give us any width out wide. Our left mid's in a decent position. We could play the ball out wide here, but then what's our next move, right? So I'm going to show this video clip. This is how we started the game versus Coppermine. This is pretty much how we do all our kickoffs. And again, up until this point, Coach Jason and I have never told you guys any different. But this is something that we can work on, we can get better on throughout the spring. Figuring out the best way to play the ball to start the game, to try to get these guys to chase us, pull themselves out of shape, and then we can capitalize and take advantage of the space behind them. So instead of kicking the ball off like this, what we should have done and what we should try to do moving forward is our center mid remains in a center mid position, probably 8 to 10 yards behind the ball to start, and we play the ball back. And when we do that sort of thing, it opens up the rest of the field. So here you can see we start play, our striker taps it forward. Immediately we're getting pressure from the striker on their team. The left mid was tucked in really tight here because we were also tucked in tight, so there's no reason for him to be out here. Our right mid. If our right mid was out wide, this guy should be out here as well to make sure that he's not wide open and we can't just play the ball through to start the game. So we tap the ball forward, we're getting pressure, we immediately get tackled because we have nowhere to go, and we lose the ball. Now, we end up fouling the guy, and then they get a free kick off of it. So let's go back to this situation. Striker taps the ball forward. If instead of doing this, we had our center mid back here, the striker turns, taps the ball backwards to start play to our center mid. If our right mid is out wide and our left mid is in a position where he's at right now, then we have options, right? Because they're still going to pressure the ball. They're not going to stand still and let us just hold the ball here. You're probably going to get pressure from one or both of these guys. And if that's the case, someone should be open. We can play the ball out wide here to the right. We can play the ball out wide here to the left, or we can dribble and take our space. If we're not getting too much pressure, we take our space. Things open up behind these guys. We play the ball through, and then we can attack the goal. Let me show you guys here on the tactical pad. Okay, so this is what we just saw on the clip. We have our striker with the ball. Our center mid is up here on the line, ready to take the tap in so we can start the game. If he were back here, right, in a more central position, we start the game by playing the ball back. Now the field opens up. This guy, our right mid, should really be out here to start the game as well, which we hope would pull this guy out here as well. So we play the ball back to our center mid. Our target player immediately tries to find some open space on their side of the field. We're getting pressure from their striker who's charging at the ball. Maybe we take a little space first. And now we have options, right? We have midfielders out wide providing our width. We have some depth now with our target player stretching the field. And we can pass the ball. We can pass the ball up, here, through. We could pass the ball around. If you're getting pressure from more than one guy, then this guy's wide open, right? If he finds a good angle, we could play the ball up the field this way. Just so many more options, right, when we spread them out. We're not spreading them out when we kick the ball off and we have our center mid and our striker on top of the ball. One guy can pressure both of these guys in this situation, right? As soon as we tap the ball forward, this guy can pressure and cover both guys. So that gives them an advantage. We're trying to remove the advantage and give ourselves an advantage. So by spreading out, by playing the ball back, by opening up the field, we create more attacking opportunities for ourselves. So now we're going to talk about goal kicks. What our shape should look like when we take goal kicks. I think we all have a general idea by now of what it should look like. But there's some fine details, some little things that we didn't get quite right during the scrimmage fest, and it cost us. It actually cost us a couple goals, just because guys weren't really in the right position. You know, we were in the general area, but we need to fine tune some things and figure out why we should be in certain places. And I just want to take a few minutes and discuss that before we look at the clips. So if you see here in our little diagram, our goalie has the ball. He's ready to put the ball back into play. We have our left back up here, number 4. Our right back is number 5. Let's just look at these two guys specifically for a minute before we move on to the others. So we never really explained why we want our left and right back to be in a position similar to this, right? So we're kind of even with the ball here. We're pretty deep, meaning we're pretty close to our own end line. And we're not super wide, and we're also not very narrow or close to the ball. So the reason we kind of want to be out here in the middle is if we line up really wide, let's say we lined up super wide here by the sideline. There's two main reasons why we don't do this. Number one, the goalie has to kick the ball farther to get to a teammate, which, as you can see here, by the time we kick the ball out to number 4, that gives number 6 here more time to close this guy down. So number 1 is time. It takes longer for the ball to get out there. Number 2, even if we get it out here quickly, let's say we blast the ball out here, right? It's a great pass, hard, low pass. Number 4 receives it, crosses body, looks up. This guy hasn't even left yet. We can't dribble to the outside now because we're too close to the sideline. In the sideline, we mentioned this before, we have to treat the sideline like it's another player, like it's a player on the opponent's team. So let's pretend like we can't dribble this way because we're going to dribble we'll dribble out of bounds. We lose the ball and then we lose possession, and we might as well just kick it to the other team at that point. So we can't go to our left now. And if we're down here to the right at the bottom, then we can't go to our right. So the only place we can go is inside. And if this is a good player, and we're going to assume it's a good player, all he has to do is kind of take away the outside, what little room there is, and we're stuck going in one direction, and then bad things can happen. So we want to try to stay about equal distance between the sideline and our goal. So just for reference here, it's going to be right here along the edge of the goal box. The goal boxes that we play with are closer to the sideline because we play on a much narrower field than this. This is probably a full-size field, or what it's supposed to look like. So I'm just going to put this guy here. But just know, we don't want to be too wide. We don't want to be too close to the ball. We kind of want to be in between. Find that sweet spot here. This way, we receive the ball out here. We can go outside. We can go inside. We can go forward. We have more options, more space available to us. Now, the reason we want to stay deep here, this is something that we made a number of mistakes this past weekend and at the scrimmage fest, where our backs decided that they weren't going to get too deep here. We were going to kind of play closer up to the edge of the box. Well, what that does is it decreases the amount of space here. So number 6 is going to get to our back much faster because we're receiving the ball much closer to him. So it doesn't give this guy as much time to make a decision, to turn, pick his head up, to see the field. Also, and you can't really see it here, but we can imagine that we have to look at the ball, right? So number 4 is looking back at number 1. He's looking at our goalie now. He doesn't know where number 6 is. Maybe number 6 started out here, and then when he got into his position, he's ready to receive the ball. Number 6 creeps up on him. He has no idea he's going to get pressure from the outside. So he receives the ball. He goes to turn. Number 6 is on top of him. He turns. Number 6 steals the ball, and then they have a shot on goal. So we never, never, never want to turn our back to the attacking players here. So that's why we try to stay deep, right? I prefer it if we play back here. This way we receive the ball, we pick our head up, and we have plenty of time, right? Plenty of time and space. And what do we really want to happen? We want the other team to get as close to us as possible. We want to draw these guys in, right? If we draw these guys in, what does it do? It opens up all the space behind them. If they're back here and we have the ball and they're not coming for it, then there's no space, right? So we have to make these guys move, and the best way to make them move is to get them to come to us. So we play the ball out here. Number 6, number 9 come to pressure the ball, and then we get to the next level. And I'll show you that. Let's start talking about that right now. So our backs are in a good position. Let's talk about this guy in the middle, number 10, our center mid. We like our center mid to line up here at the top of the box. This gives us another option, right? We don't necessarily have to play it out wide to a back. This is generally the best thing to do here, but we could always play it to number 10 here, and then he could play it back out and then up the field. We've done this a few times by accident, and it's pretty scary because, again, if we play it to number 10, he has his back turned. He doesn't know this guy's here. If he were to make a turn without picking his head up, we could lose the ball right in front of our goal, and that's no good. So we'll get into this later this year maybe. We'll talk about playing some triangles, playing some some balls up the middle and then back and then further outside. But for right now, we're going to try to just play it safe, play it outside, and then let these guys figure out the next move. But this guy, why do we want the center mid to be at the top of the box? 2 reasons, right? And it wasn't not the reason I just explained, right? So 2 other reasons why we like him to be here. Once we play the ball out wide, our number 5 here, our right back, he has decisions to make, right? Receives the ball across his body, looks up, sees that he's getting pressure. Let's say pressure in this situation is coming from number 10. Number 10's pressuring. Well, let's say number 8 wasn't in a good position to begin with, and their left mid is in front of our right mid. We have no pass option here. We start to dribble outside. Maybe this guy comes over. Now we have no option out here to the right. The only place for us to go is inside. Our number 10 here, our center mid, provides an inside pass option. So number 5 shouldn't try to beat this guy off the dribble if he has a pass option in the middle of the field. As long as this guy isn't being marked, which he probably won't be, we take a quick turn, we play it inside. This opens things up down the field. So once we play it inside, he's going to start getting pressure. Hopefully our right mid or our striker make a run into space, and we're able to play the ball up or play the ball outside. So our number 10, our center mid, is giving us a inside pass option. That's one good reason for him to be at the top of the box. The second good reason for him to be at the top of the box. Let's say we play the ball out here to our back, and he's getting pressure. He's getting pressure. He decides he's not going to make this pass, right? He's going to try to beat this guy off the dribble. He ends up losing the ball. Now we have our left back is going to save us, right? Well, he can't because he's all the way out here. And this is a pretty big goal box, right? It's going to be pretty hard for number 4 to sprint all the way over here and try to close this guy down and stop him from getting a clean shot. So number 10, our center mid, is in a perfect situation here. He can slide over. He can provide that last little bit of defense before our goalie has to make an amazing save. He can step in here. He can maybe win the ball and then provide a pass outside again, and we can start over. Being here, he's kind of our safety valve, right? He's gonna be there just in case, and he provides us that inside passing option, right? So those are two of the big reasons why he's there. In addition to that first option we were talking about where he could receive a pass and turn, but we're not worried about that right now. Let's get everything else straight first. Okay, so we talked about our backs and why we like to play them in this position. We talked about our center mid. Now let's talk about our left and our right mids. So generally these three guys in the back, our backs and our center mid, seem to do a pretty good job of lining up. You guys know where to go by now. No matter who plays these positions, they kind of generally know this is about where they should be. At this point in the year, that's what we should know, right? We're headed into the spring. We kind of know our formation. We know where we should be. Now, this role here at left mid and right mid is difficult, right? It is. You're going to want to, I know you guys want to tend to be closer to the ball because the closer I am to the ball, the more likely it's going to come to me. But we need to try to stretch the field here a little bit. So on a goal kick, ideally, we would like to get wide, very, very wide, close to the sideline even, to try to either draw this guy over to open up some space here, or, like most teams, everyone likes to stack the line. They like to stack the build-out line, and everyone likes to pressure, right? They're just going to pressure. So they're going to come at us from all different places on the field. Well, this gives us an outside passing option. So we play the ball out here to our left back. These guys are going to get confused. Maybe both of them pressure. If not, if this guy sits back into space, then as the left mid here, our role is to either check into space, so we check back along the line and provide a short angle for a pass, or we make a little run down the field. Maybe maybe if we dribble it out here a little bit more, we're able to play the ball a bit longer. Or let's say this team is very good at pressure cover, which is something we'll talk about. We've talked about in the past, and we'll talk about some more. Let's say that we're getting pressure here from their target player, and this guy's doing a good job of covering this pass, not allowing us to have this easy outside pass towards the sideline. Then our job as the left mid is to check into space, find this hole, find this angle here in this passing lane in order for number 4 to play the ball up. And then we try to move the ball around forward to our target player. So we have to make sure that we're very wide to start, right? We like to start wide. Not necessarily standing here like a statue, right? Maybe we start here, and then as the ball's played in, out to our left back, maybe then we check out wider and get closer to the sideline. But we want to try to provide a very wide passing option for our backs, regardless of if it's here at the top or on the left side, or if it's down here at the bottom, number 8. Number 8's going to get wide, and he's going to give us that angle where we can play the ball out wide, get it out of the middle and away from all these players. Okay, so before we move on to the last part and then on to the clips, let's talk about, a couple minutes ago I started to talk about it and then I got away from it. Let's talk about how the left and right mid, in addition to providing width, they need to make sure that they're not too close and making the field too small. So what I mean by making the field small, we've talked about this before briefly at practice. When we pack all of our players, all of our own team into just the defensive third, that leaves only one player up here as a forward option. So in addition to what I was mentioning a few minutes ago about how if we play the ball out here to our left mid, let's say our left mid, instead of being out here and wide, decides he wants to come back to the ball. The goalie, instead of playing it out here to our left back, says, oh, okay, this guy's a little bit more forward. I'm going to play it to him. So we play it out here. Again, in order to receive the ball, he needs to see the ball, right? So he's looking at the goalie. He's not looking at number 6 here. He receives it. He opens up to turn. Number 6 is on top of him, wins the ball, shoots on goal. Bad things happen, right? In addition to that, let's pretend like number 6 is over here talking to his mom. His mom's on the sideline yelling at him or something. Number 6 is here. Let's say we have a successful pass. He receives it. He looks up. Well, there's no one to pass to, right? Because you're not the left back. You're the left mid. The left back is back here. So we want to move forward, right? So the only way to move forward here is to dribble. And, a lot of you guys are really good dribblers, and I've seen you guys dribble through the whole team before and dribble down the sideline. But I can tell you the success rate is very low, right? We want to try to put ourselves in a position where we have an advantage. That's how we score goals, and that's how soccer is played, right? It's a game of little advantages. We try to put ourselves in good positions and gain advantages over the opponent. And there's no advantage here, right? We're at a disadvantage. They have 3 players that we need to beat by dribbling, and that's hard to do. Now, let's say, our target player does a great job running into space and we play a long ball. We did that a lot this past weekend, right? It happens. But it's unlikely, right? What normally happens is we get about halfway, we try to connect a pass, something, it goes off this guy's foot out of bounds or something. By putting ourselves in this position, we're not setting ourselves up for success, right? The next level. We always need to be thinking one step ahead, right? We play it out here. This guy's thinking, all right, what's the next level? The next level is the middle of the field. I want to get it out of the defensive third. So he's looking for options to get it out of the defensive third. Well, once we get into the middle third, then we're looking at ways to get it into the attacking third and then eventually onto the goal. Well, that's not going to happen if we receive the ball in the defensive third by one of our players that should be in the middle of the field. So let's try to be more aware of our positioning in the middle as the left and right mid. We don't want to be too close. We definitely don't want to be too far either, right? Like don't take it too literal. And I don't mean that we should be all the way up here, right? Because we're not going to be able to connect this pass, right? We're not passing the ball 30 yards. Not at your age, for sure. And it's also not good soccer, right? Let's try to stay between the build-out line and midfield around this area. We can be around the build-out line. And again, like I said earlier, we can check in. We can certainly check in and come back and provide a short passing option. And then we connect the ball up the field that way. That's fine. But what we can't do is receive the ball as the left or right mid in our third. It just doesn't make sense. It's just not good. So let's try to be more aware there. All right, let's get reset here, and then we'll talk about the last guy. Last but not least, we have our target player. So this was one of the biggest issues I saw in the video. Our target players not really knowing what to do on a goal kick. Obviously, we're not kicking the ball to the goal from the goalkeeper to the striker or target player. Let's just call him the striker, by the way. We don't need to use the term target player. This is our striker. It sounds way cooler than target player. Anyway, goalkeeper has the ball. He's not going to pass it to the striker, right? We're not punting. We're not playing long balls. It's not going to happen. Okay, we like to play short passing, possession-based soccer. We like to play out of the back. Okay, so our number 9, he's got a bunch of responsibilities, right? Number 1, he needs to stretch the field. A big issue we had this past weekend, and what we've had in the past, is the target player wants to come back to the ball. And sometimes it's okay to come back to the ball, but we don't want to come back to the ball during a goal kick because why? Because what happens? We made the field small. We just got done talking about that. If number 9 comes back here and he checks into space here, let's say we get a pass out to him, that's great. Let's say this guy's covered. Now what? Now we have to dribble down the field again. We have no one up here in the middle third to pass the ball to. Well, that's not good. So we need to be able to be that option, right? Let's be the furthest option down the field for our team. Now, does that mean standing out here, all the way out here at the build-out line and trying to connect a 30-yard pass? No. That's not what we want. We need to put ourselves in a good position to receive the ball down the field, a reasonable amount of distance away from our midfielders, right? Again, not 30 yards down the field, not right up next to our midfielder, somewhere in between. But our main objective here is to find some space. Find these passing lanes, find these holes between the defenders. If the ball is played up here to our left back, then we need to shift. We need to shift up here. Our number 6 is playing nice and wide. He's providing that wide angle. We need to be able to provide a different angle, a different option for number 4. Our center mid is checking into space here. He's providing an inside pass. This guy provides an outside pass. We need to be the guy in between. So if number 6 is covering, number 9 is pressuring, then we need to be that guy, and we need to show for our teammate here, and he needs to play the ball through and up the seam. We call this up the seam, right? In between the defenders. If the ball is played out here to the right, let's go back here. Let's reset a little bit. Ball is played out here to the right. Same situation, right? Our number 8 is wide. He's providing that wide angle. Our number 9 needs to check in here and be that through ball, right? Be that right here through the passing lane that's created by pressure cover from the other team. Find this hole, receive the ball, and then we can work down the field together with our right mid. So again, main responsibilities of the striker in this situation is to shift and become an option, right? We're not standing still. We're not like a statue. We're not standing next to a defender doing nothing. We're also not cherry picking. We're not down here by the build-out line just hoping that these guys figure it out and somehow get me the ball. We are shifting up and we are shifting down, in and out. We are constantly moving, right? This guy probably moves more than anyone, right? In this situation, we want our striker moving, finding these holes, finding these pockets of space so that we can use him, right? We can play the ball up here to our striker, and then we can go to goal. Now, if I receive the ball here, I got one guy to beat, right? It's a little bit easier than receiving the ball back here and having to dribble through the whole team. Right? Passing the ball, you hear me say this all the time, passing the ball around the other team is much easier than dribbling through them. Okay, and that's pretty much it, right? So we talked about everybody's responsibility. We talked about our shape. Hopefully we stop making some of these little details, right? Little mistakes as far as depth and width and where we should be. Just little things. If we're off by just a few yards, it causes us headaches, right? And it increases the chance that something bad will happen. And we don't want bad things to happen, right? We want good things to happen. So just remember this. Remember this this reference, this diagram, as we start to look at the clips. All right, let's take a look at our first clip. This is a goal kick against SAC Premier Blue. We played them during the Scrimmage Fest. I'm sure you guys remember. So the ball just went out of bounds. Our goalie picks it up, puts it on the line. Our guys are kind of settling into their shape right now, figuring out where they should be. The ref's yelling at this guy because he's not behind the build-out line. Okay, so we put the ball down. We're ready to play it in. Our left back is very deep, right? This is about where he should be. That's perfect. He's a little bit too wide here, but pretty good, right? So if he receives the ball here, he doesn't have much room before he hits the sideline. He wants to be a little bit closer, but that's pretty good. Our left mid looks exactly where he probably should be. I mean, he's very, very wide. not being covered, right? This guy's not covering him at all. He's in a great position to receive the ball. If we would have played the ball out here and then up the field, we would have been in business, right? We would have gotten out of our defensive third and into the middle third of the field and moved down the field. It would have been good. Our striker is in a not ideal position, right? We talked about this before. He should be up here stretching the field. Instead, we made the field very small. See, all of our guys are within the defensive third here or close to it. That's not good. We don't have a forward option. Our right back is in a decent position as well. He's about square with the ball, a little bit too far forward, but that's okay. Not too wide, not too narrow. He's not in a bad spot. Our right mid is definitely too close to our right back, right? If the build out line is where the referee is standing, you guys can't really see it on this video, but it's here. We're way too close, right? We're too close to the ball. There's no one out here in space, right? No one's out here. This would be a good place to be. It would probably draw these guys over, and if not, then we'd have a better option on this side of the field. And our center mid is about where he should be. Now, in this video, our goalie is going to play the ball up to our center mid. In an ideal situation, our center mid would play the ball back to our right back, and then our right mid would be wide open over here, and we could play the ball up. It would be great, right? And we've done this before, and I'll show you a clip later, not in this video, in another one, in a game months and months ago, where we played the ball forward to our center mid, we played the ball back to our right back, which drew all these guys in, and then we played it outside and up the field. It was beautiful. And that could have happened here, but because we're out of position, it did not. So let's watch it. We play the ball forward to our center mid. He takes a touch. He plays it too soft, too slow. Luckily, our right mid stepped in there, grabbed the ball. But look, again, we have no options, and it turns into a near scoring opportunity for them. Let's watch that one more time. Here we are. We play the ball forward to our center mid, right? Too soft of a pass here. They almost run onto it. Luckily, we step in, try to get the ball to our striker, but he's not far enough up the field, and bad things almost happen. So, again, just the little things, boys, little details make a big difference. Okay, so now let's take a look at the opponent having poor shape on a goal kick. So we had just kicked the ball out of bounds here. Their goalie has it. Let's go back a little bit. This is a little bit. Okay, so goalie puts the ball down. Right. Let's see. Okay, so ball goes out of bounds. Goalie picks it up. He goes to put it down to kick it. Look at their team shape here. So they're trying to play it quickly. So the goalie puts it down. This is their right back. He is too far forward, right? And he's staring at the ball. He has no idea that our left mid over here, instead of being out here, is going to pressure the ball right away. Now, ideally, when we play pressure cover, we like our striker, who's this guy in front of the ref. We like him to be the one to pressure the ball, and then our outside midfielders will cover the pass and take that option away. But in this situation, this was a great heads-up play by our left mid. As soon as the ball is played in here to the right back, he immediately pounces on it. We're able to win the ball, and then good things happen. So he takes a touch, he turns. Exactly what I was just talking about, right? When we were describing how if we're too far forward and we receive the ball with our back turned, we don't know where the pressure is coming from. He had no idea that our left mid was going to run in here and tackle right away. So we surprised him. We tackle well. We win the ball. Boom. Goal. Right? This was a fantastic effort by our team. But to be honest with you, the other team hurt themselves, right? Like we took advantage of them not having good shape. I don't even know what's going on over here. Their left back and left mid are kind of just pointing over here like I don't know what's going on either. Little things like this, boys, shape makes such a big difference. Let's watch it one more time. In real time, I won't stop it. Their goalie makes a quick decision. Great heads-up play. Because of their poor body shape, they weren't ready, and we took advantage of it, scored a goal. Great job. Okay, so here's the last one for goal kicks. You can see here we have the ball. We're ready to kick it in. This is against Coppermine at the Scrimmage Fest. Our right back is way too high, and he is facing the ball. Right, his back is turned to whoever's over here. Our center mid is in a decent position. Our left back should probably be a little bit wider, probably around out here. But he's even with the ball, and he's in a good position to receive it. Our left mid is, again, way too close, not providing any depth down the field or no width either, right? He's narrow. He's about even with the left back. So here you can see we want our right back should definitely be closer to the end line, and our left mid should be out here. Now, in this situation, it actually worked out. We were able to receive the ball. Our left back turned, saw the pressure, he played it outside. Our left mid turned, did a great job here once he received it of seeing the pressure in his face from all three sides. Well, not three sides, but from three different directions. And our left back did a great job of running into this open space. We connected a pass here. That was very good soccer, boys. Right? And then we moved the ball down the field. But going back to our initial shape, in this situation, the little details again, right? This is about 8 yards, right? 8 yards makes a huge difference. Again, about 8 to 10 yards here would make a big difference. If their striker, I don't know where he's at. Maybe his mom's yelling at him. He should be up here on the build-out line. If they have pressure cover in this situation, we're in trouble, right? If they have pressure coming at our left back, and then this guy decides he wants to cover, very easy to kind of cover the guy when he's only 8 yards away from the ball. If he's out here wide, it's much harder for him to cover. So, again, in summary, goal kicks, shape, right? Shape is the most important thing. Once we quickly reset, ball gets put out of play, goalie brings it back in. While the goalie's going to get the ball, we should be figuring out where our shape or how our shape looks and where we should be on the field. And that'll set us up for success, and we will have less bad things happen in our defensive third. All right, let's talk about corner kicks, specifically defending corner kicks on our side of the field. So in this diagram here, you can see that this is pretty much our standard shape when it comes to defending corner kicks. And this is not ideal. This is not good. What we like to do, everyone likes to drop back. We tend to just crowd the goal box. Maybe it's because we see that on TV in professional matches. There's always a ton of guys in the box. But in reality, what we end up doing here is getting in our own way. A lot of the times the ball is played in. Maybe we have an opportunity to clear it, and our own teammates are in the way. We kick it off our teammate, goes out of bounds, goes in the goal. Who knows? Goes to the other team. I've seen us do all three of those this year. Also, what's best case scenario, right? They play the ball in. Let's say we somehow receive it, it bounces around, we somehow get it. Now what are we going to do, right? Especially if this guy's up close too, which he tends to be as well. We have nowhere to play the ball, right? We could kick the ball away, but that's giving up possession. That's not what we want to do. We have no one to pass the ball to, so our only option is to dribble. So every time we win the ball on a corner, it's like a jailbreak, right? Everyone just scatters, runs down the field. We try to dribble. It never works out, right? I don't think it's worked out one time this year where they play a corner in, we somehow win it, and then we beat everyone by dribbling and then score a goal. So, number one, we need to get out of our own way. Our striker, just like on goal kicks, needs to stay high. Now, again, we're not cherry picking. We're not all the way up here trying to draw someone over. This isn't really helping anyone. We need to be an option in the middle of the field. So we put ourselves in a position where, we don't have the ball, so we're kind of acting as a defender, right? We're trying to keep these backs from becoming an impact for their team, right? We're trying to keep these guys from getting involved in the play. first and foremost. But we're also, if we do win the ball, we're quickly checking into space, becoming an option, shifting up or down, to become that forward option down the field. Okay, so remember, our number 4 is our left back, our number 5 is our right back. Our other midfielders need to get out. And I don't mean out here to become a pass option because, again, we're defending in this situation. So when we defend, we want to automatically pinch in, right? Because we get small on defense. We get wider when we attack. So we're in here covering space. Now, let's start with our left back. Our primary, I'll move these guys out of the way for now. So, as the left back, our primary responsibility is to cover their striker or whoever is on this side of the field, right? On our side of the field. We're not over here covering someone on the right. We're on the left. We want to cover around the left part of the goal box. So let's say it's their number 9. Now you've heard your coaches say goal side before. It's a term we throw out. Goal side means between their player and our goal. So when we say you should be goal side of that guy, you're in between him and the goal. You're not out here. You're not letting him become goal side of you. You're not even with him, right? You are on the inside or the goal side. This is our goal. You are on the goal side of the opponent. So we want to be on the goal side of number 9. So wherever he goes, you're probably following him. Now, if he makes a run across to this side, should we follow him? Probably not, right? We're kind of guarding this area. As the left back, we are picking up the closest man to us, but we're not chasing the guy across the box, especially if he's doing something silly like running over here. We let the right back or the right mid pick that guy up. So we're over here. We're kind of guarding this area. We're being goal side of this guy. We're marking this man. This allows us to better defend when they play the ball in. What's he gonna do? Is he gonna settle it and turn? Well, you're right in his face. You're probably gonna win the ball or kick it away. We can't head the ball yet, so you're not worried about that. So you can be right up on him. Just make sure you're goal side. So left back's in a good position here. We're guarding this guy. Our right back, same thing on this side, right? Even though the kick's over here, you're kind of guarding this side of the field. Now, let's say their left mid here is in the middle of the box, and you got no one to guard. You should be pinching in here to become goal side of this guy. Now, again, if he rotates up here, maybe we don't follow him quite as far. Maybe we kind of hang out here in the middle. But your responsibility is mostly this right side of the field. Specifically the back post, right? We cover this guy. They should have someone here on the back post to try to clean this up if they play the ball through. It's always good to have someone over here. But just to keep it simple, you're goal side of the nearest man. Okay, you're man marking. You're up pretty tight to him, making sure he doesn't have a free shot at shooting the ball. Our number 10. Kind of like the goal kick situation, you want to be around the top of the box, right? You are here primarily to clean up any balls that come in this area, also to pick up the free runners. So if they have their center mid and he's in the middle of the box too, then we should be goal side of him, right? So now we've man marked inside the box and we don't have anyone free. Or maybe they have him out here and they're going to try to play the ball in and he's going to run onto it. Well, this is your job, right? Your job is to be the guy who steps up, tries to intercept that ball, or close this guy down immediately so he can't get a clean shot on goal. So you're kind of here just kind of poaching, seeing what's going on in the middle of the box. This is your responsibility. Our left and right mid. The mid who's closest to the ball on the kick, your primary responsibility is watching for the short corners, right? You're watching for this back. Let's say this guy's creeping up here. And we were able to get a bunch of these off at Coppermine and the sack game where they weren't paying attention to our back. We were able to run into space. We play a quick ball in, and we're able to get a better ball into the box, right? Because we're a little bit closer. And at our age, we can't really play the ball into the box in the air consistently. So the short corner is always a good option. You're not out here standing in space doing nothing, because then this guy is a free run inside. Again, your primary responsibility is guarding the goal, but you're not in here crowding the box for no reason, right? You stand here, are you really helping? No, you're probably getting in the way. So let's kind of play out here a little bit towards the edge of the box, and we're looking for the short corner. If this guy creeps up, we're ready to pounce on it. Otherwise, we're kind of here, ready to block any kind of pass that's played in, and we're also a good option, right? By being out here, and we'll get into that in a second, by being out here, you can quickly transition into attack by being away from other players. Okay, so if that's our left mid, he's closest to the ball. This guy out here. Now, should we be out here at the edge of this box? No, that doesn't make sense, right? Because the ball's not coming over here. There's no one to guard. This guy's not going to make a crazy run around here, and they're going to play a ball through, and he's going to do some spectacular stuff. Probably not going to happen. You're in here man marking whatever else comes into the box. So let's say he's here, and we're goal side of him. If this guy does come into the box, we don't want them to have a numerical advantage. We're in there as well. That's fine. But likely he's a back. He'll probably be up here somewhere. We're kind of equal distance, right? We're kind of equal distance between these two. Playing the space here, watching for these runs, right? We're here kind of working with the center mid. If this guy makes a run this way, then we pick him up. Around here, also in a good position to where if we win the ball, we're able to transition into attack pretty quickly. Our striker, again, we are finding space, but we're also playing the role of a defender. So we are taking away any kind of option they have back here. If their number 10 is sitting very deep, obviously we can step in front of this guy and cut this pass off. We don't want to chase him too far, right? We don't want to come in here, because then our number 10 is doing nothing, right? What is he doing? We're not double teaming this guy, because we win the ball, they play the ball in, we win the ball. What are we going to do with it now, right? So we are the furthest forward player on our team. We're not making the field super small. We still want to probably remain in the midfield somewhere and become that quick attack option if, per se, let's say they kick it here, we do a quick interception of the pass, and then we have a ball we can play forward. Now look, we have a free run at goal. So striker, again, you're constantly moving. We're shifting up and down. We're finding pockets of space to occupy, and watching for these crazy free runs if they have them. So that's a pretty comprehensive breakdown there, boys. This is a lot easier to do on the board than it is in real life, right? I know there's a lot of stuff going on. Corner kicks happen quickly. You have like less than 10 seconds usually to figure out where you need to be. Just know that if the ball, quick and easy, if the ball is in this corner, you're this outside mid, you kind of want to be here. Left and right back, you kind of want to be goal. You want to be goal side of the closest man near your post. The number 10, you have the most freedom, but also, one of the most responsibility, because you're looking to figure out what's going on. You're looking for the advantage the opponent has. The right back, again, you're kind of in a weird place here. You're just kind of equal distance, trying to figure out what's going on. And then our striker is moving into space, finding opportunities and taking away anything obvious. Yeah, all right. Well, let's look at some clips now. Okay, so here's a good video from the scrimmage fest. The ball just went out of bounds in this play. We're defending a corner kick from over here on the left side. You can see how quick it sets up, boys. This is the hardest part about corner kicks, is reacting, right? We have to be ready to go. As soon as that ball crosses the end line and the referee points to the corner, we have to be in position, right? We have to be man marking. We need to figure out where we need to be. So as you can see, ball goes out. Their player quickly puts it down. He's ready to go. I mean, look how quick he's ready to kick the ball in. That was what, 5 seconds? Not even. You can see our right back here is in a decent position. He's not really sure where this guy is. He is kind of goal side. He should really be even with him goal side instead of in front of him. We kind of lost him a little bit there, but that's not bad, right? He knows he needs to protect this back post. Our left back, I'm not sure if you can see him clearly. He's out here. He is goal side and man marking their target player or their striker. He's doing a great job. Where we get lost is our right mid is checked in here in the box in front of our goalie. He is kind of guarding this area, but there's no one there. So we're kind of crowding our own box, right? We're in front of our goalie. This is another body in his way. If he wants to run out here and grab the ball, he's not able to, right? Because our right mid is taking up space where we don't need him to be. He should be out here, right? Look, they have a free runner. They have a guy out here who, if this ball is played across, could just run up this white line and have a free shot on goal. Our center mid is probably the furthest out of position, though, right? Like, he is near the end line staring at the ball. I'm not really sure. I've seen guys do this in every game. I'm not sure why we think that's a good idea. Now, granted, a lot of the times the ball doesn't get carried into the box as far as it should because we're 6 and 7 years old, and maybe we can't kick it that far, and this guy's in a great position to receive it. But more often than not, you're just getting in the way, right? We're getting in the way of our teammates. Might hit our hand on the way in. I've seen, we've seen it all from this position. You would be in a much better position if you were up here at the top of the box, able to cut off any of these balls that get played through and become an option once we receive it. Our striker is very, very close to our side of the field. He's in the defensive third. He's actually at the top of the box, if you can see the box here. This would be considered making the field way too small, right? We made our field tiny. We should be out here, which would pull their backs out. Now look, they have what? This is their left mid. That's their striker. This is their right mid probably. Where's their center mid? I don't know. One of these guys, maybe this guy. And this is their left back. Their right back's probably back here, right, doing nothing. But we should be out here in between these guys, right, trying to find that space so we can quickly transition once we win the ball. Our left mid is behind the referee. You can't really see him here. Let's see if we can see him. Okay, there we go. So our left mid is probably the closest to being in the right position, right? Other than our backs. I don't want to take away from our left and our right back here. They're in a pretty good place. They're goal side. We could be a little tighter to the guy here. We're kind of giving him too much room, and we could be even with him instead of in front of him here. But that's not bad. Our right mid and our center mid are really out of position, right? And this can cause bad things to happen. It looks cool because we got 4 guys in front of the box, so we feel like we're in a good situation. Rather in front of the goal, we got four of our own teammates. So we have a numerical advantage here, but we have a giant space here where they can play the ball into, and we're not in a good position to defend it or to counter once we win the ball. So you can see here, our center mid should be about here, our right mid should be out here trying to stop this free runner, our striker should be up here in space, and our left mid could tuck in just a little bit because there's no real short corner threat here, right? He's kind of a little bit too far out. So let's see what happens. They play the ball in. Ball bounces around. Now look. So they played the ball in. We were man marking, but we lost our guy. He backed off. He went and received the ball. He kicked it. His teammate got it. Look where all 6 of our field players are, right? Not counting our goalie. We have 6 guys within, what? I don't even know. 4 yards of the ball, maybe? Even if we win it, what are we going to do with it? Right? Like, what could we possibly do with it? Their team, on the other hand, is in a great position. Now, granted, they don't need 2 guys on top of the ball. If one of these guys could be doing that and the other guy could be somewhere else. But look, they're attacking the ball from every direction, right? They got a guy coming in from the corner. They got their patient center mid here, or perhaps this is their right back. I'm not sure. Maybe this guy's their center mid. But he's in a good position where if the ball popped out, he could run onto it. This guy is back post. He's unmarked at this point. He's ready in case the ball pops out this way. I mean, they're in the perfect position here, out of a corner. I would, as a coach, I would love to see this, right? They're ready for all the situations. And what happens, right? What happens? So we win the ball, right? We're doing a good job trying to get the ball out. We win the ball, and then we just kick it because there's no one out here to pass the ball to. So we end up turning the ball over because they're in great position, and then watch. They pass it around, they play the ball in, and it's a goal. Let's watch it one more time. From this point, they're in a great position. We're not in a good position. Our shape is not very good here. No options out of this. We try to clear the ball. They play it around. Boom, kick it in. I mean, that's good soccer, boys, on their half. Not for us, but for them. They played that very, very well. They were in a great position. And you see, it doesn't take a lot of skill, right? They didn't do anything fancy. They didn't do anything that we can't do. All they did was stay disciplined and keep their shape. All right, let's move on to another. Okay, so here's another one against SAC. This time the ball is same. It's over here on the left corner again. Now again, ball went out of bounds. Guy went to go get it. He puts it down. He's ready to go, right? Maybe they're coached to take these corners quickly, but they do a great job, right? Before we're even set, they are ready to kick the ball. Now here, our right back. Here, let's go forward a little bit. Okay, good. Right here. Okay, so our right back is in the perfect position, right? I love this here. He's goal side. He's pretty tight to his man. He could be a little bit tighter, right? Reach out and touch the guy. I mean, there's, like shoulder to shoulder, a little bit of contact is fine, boys, right? Like, let the guy know that you're marking him, right? So he wants to move. So he's not just standing there waiting for the ball to come. Our striker is, again, here's the box. He's close to the box. He should be up here. Our left mid in this case is kind of not really sure where we should be. We should be out here again because they have a short corner option, right? If this guy wanted to check in, they could play a short ball. He could pass it in. We're kind of just facing the ball, hoping the ball comes to us. Let's be out here towards the edge of the box, covering that short corner. We have all three mid. We have our left back here who's trying to man mark. But our right mid is doing his job for him. And our center mid is over here. Again, that kind of just hoping the ball comes to him, I guess. Three guys trying to cover one guy. Meanwhile, this guy, number 7, is either falling asleep, taking a nap because he's got no pressure and he feels so comfortable, or he's waiting for the ball to come to him so he can play it onto the goal. Let's see what happens. They play the ball in. Right to number 7, who's wide open, and sure, he didn't have a great shot, and we somehow come out with the ball, which is good, right? High effort, we got it out of there, but we let this happen, right? This guy, free runner, our right mid should be out here covering this guy, or our center mid should be kind of in this space where this guy's head is, right here, and then the ball never would have got there, right? So almost a really bad thing happened. Luckily, they had a poor shot off that bounce, and we did a good job of tackling and then getting out of trouble. All right, let's check out another one. Okay, this is against SAC again, and it's another corner out here on the left side. I think we got really, really unlucky this game with allowing a lot of corners. They had a lot of shots early on, especially. It took us a while to wake up, but we ended up playing great that game, right? So I don't want to take away from you guys, but little things, positioning, right? We could have turned this game around a lot sooner. So let's see where we're at here. Again, ball goes out of bounds. They're ready to take that corner right away. This guy wastes no time, right? He's ready to go. Now their shape here is it's okay. It's a little sloppy here in the back. They have their backs. This guy's kind of here as a short option. This guy is like their furthest up defender. Again, our target player is too close. He needs to be out here. Our left mid is kind of walking around, not really sure where he should go. He should be up here again. Our center mid, again, is glued to this spot. Still not sure why. I see a lot of teams do it. Doesn't make sense. he should be here in the top of the box. They have a guy unmarked, right? Our left back is pulled way out of position. He's much closer to the ball here. Again, probably in the same situation as our center mid, hoping that the ball can be intercepted off the kick, which is very difficult. Especially as you guys get older, they're just going to play it over your head. So this is almost worthless out here. We don't want to be out here unless we're trying to cover the short corner. Our right mid again is in a central deep position. He should be out here covering this free man. I mean, we've got a free runner here, and we got a guy in the box just walking around doing whatever he wants. Side note, our right back here, good position. Goal side, covering that back post. Very good by the right back. So what I just said with pictures, they've got a free runner here. We should be marking. Our center mid should be top of the box. Our right mid should be out here. Our left mid should be here, and our striker should be down the field. They have a free runner again right here, and we'll see what happens. So they play the ball in here, in between all of us. Now, our striker comes back, right? Our striker is doing the job of the center mid or the left mid here. They play the ball through. Because our striker came back, now what? Now what do we do? So we won the ball, which is great, right? They didn't score. We're transitioning out of our defensive third now, but we got no options. Our left mid, instead of being here and then running into space, is back here now. Our right mid, who's back here basically playing center back, should be out here, right, as an option. And our striker should be out here. Realistically, right? This should be our striker, and this should be our center mid, so we could play the ball through. Instead, we got 3 guys that he's got to dribble through. And like I said earlier, low success rate, right? Great dribble. That was very good. Beats the second guy. Third guy steps up. Helps them win the ball, and then they play it back, and now they're back into our defensive third again, right? So even though we get the ball out, it doesn't last long before it's right back into where we don't want it to be. And that's all because of positioning, right? 100% positioning. Great effort. Fantastic effort by the striker to come back and win the ball. And everyone else was doing a decent job of effort to get the ball out. Look, we all transitioned down the field together. But if we're just a little bit smarter in our positioning, then we don't have to run. We don't have to make this run down the field, right? We're already in a good position to receive the ball, and then we can attack the goal. Okay, I think I have one more. Okay, so this is a good example of, this is actually our corner, right? We're taking a corner here. I don't know why we had so many corners against SAC. It seems like we didn't have any against Coppermine either way. That's strange. Anyway, so this is a situation where they had all their players within the box, right? They gave themselves a very short field, and we failed to take advantage of it. As you can see here in the picture, we're lined up, we're ready to take the kick. Now look at this. So there's their goalie, and then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All 6 players here within the box. And what are they really doing here? They're just taking up space. These guys have no idea where they should be. They're kind of just standing there hoping the ball comes to them. In this situation, boys, we have to be smart, right? Because we're not going to be able to kick this ball in here, and it's not going to go through all these guys. We need to play the ball around them, and we need to make runs, right? So we have our target player is here. This is our this is our target player. I'm sorry. Our target player is here on the inside. He's in a good position, right? He's near post. He's ready to pounce on the ball if we somehow are able to play it in. We have our left mid, I believe, is out here. He's in a good position as well. He is ready to back post, to run onto this back post and score. I think he's in a decent spot. He could be a little wider, I think, to open up the space here. But our center mid should be at the top of the box, right? Just like when we're defending. If he's at the top of the box, when we play this ball in, he can run onto that ball and then shoot it, right? These guys are basically competing with each other. We have our striker and our center mid are going to be fighting for the ball. It doesn't help to have guys shoulder to shoulder in here fighting our own team for the ball. We should be spreading these guys out. And if they're not going to move, if they're going to stand here, then if we're here at the top of the box, we could play this ball in here like they did to us, and then we can have a shot. Our left back kind of took took advantage of the fact that our center mid was so far out of position. He's actually in a pretty good position here because if they play that ball through, then he has a shot on goal. But what that does is it leaves a giant hole behind us. If they were smart and they had one guy out here, we'd be in big trouble if they won the ball. So our left back should kind of be in a central position if the corner's on this side of the field. And then our right back, why not cheat in here and becomes the short corner option? We practiced this at the beginning of the year. We haven't really done it since. But if this guy presses up here to become the short option, at the very least, it's going to get this guy's attention. And if we don't play it, that's fine. But this guy will peel out. He'll come out here, and then we'll have a giant gap here to play the ball in, right? So even though we may not get the ball, we may not receive the ball from a teammate, we can pull the defenders around just by our positioning, right? These guys look like they don't really care what's going on behind them, so maybe they don't move at all. But we can put ourselves in a better position to take advantage of this, right? We need to be aware of that, boys. I felt like their team was much more aware on corners. They knew where to be. They put themselves in a good position to run onto the ball, and they scored one goal off the corner, right? And we didn't score any. So this is what we need to do better moving forward in regards to corner kicks. We need to defend them better, and we need to take advantage of poor defending as well in our attacking shape. All right, we talked about goal kicks, we talked about corner kicks, we talked about the kickoff, and now we'll talk for a few minutes about throw-ins. Anytime there's a stoppage in play, whether the ball goes out of bounds or the ref blows his whistle, the first thing we need to do is make sure that we stay engaged, right? We're still in the game. It doesn't mean everyone can take a break and, we can talk to our mom on the sideline or, look up at the sky, see if there's any airplanes flying by. We need to keep our head in the game and immediately think about what our positioning on the field should be, right? Because the majority of good things and bad things that happened over the just looking at the two games from the scrimmage fest were because of positioning. Because either the ball went out of bounds and we were slow to react, or the other team was quick to react and we just weren't ready, or we just got confused and we had guys chasing the ball. Just something simple like a throw-in seems like, oh, it went out of bounds. Let's let play restart and we'll figure it out once the ball's bouncing on the field again. But we need to take advantage of this situation, right? And we need to make sure that the other team isn't taking advantage of us. So in this particular clip, ball goes out of bounds, and we are in really poor shape here. So we're in the attacking third, right? This is their goal. And we should be in a situation here where we're putting pressure on the ball and we're trying to keep the ball down here. We can't let the ball get out of the attacking third and then back into the middle and then our third of the field, right? Let's keep the ball down here. It's hard enough to get the ball down here. Let's try to keep it down here. Because this is where we score goals. So the ball went out of bounds. This guy has it now. Now where is our striker, right? Where is our forward pressure? Where's the guy who should be pressing the ball, providing the pressure in the pressure cover balance that we talk about? Well, we're really far out of position here. Our target or striker is still in the middle of the field. He should be over here putting pressure, covering this guy. Our center mid, instead of being in a center mid position, which right now he's not in a bad position, right? He should kind of be shifted over onto this side of the field, trying to cover any balls that try to get out of the corner. And unfortunately, he gets sucked in because the player or the position in front of him is so far away from where we should be that this guy goes to fill the gap, which is something we do, right? At this age, we're not sure about the assignments of who should be where and shape on the field, and and positions get swapped, right? Sometimes the center mid comes out wider than the right mid, and the right mid, overlaps to the middle, and the striker comes back, and the center mid extends further than him. That's fine, right? It's fine to swap positions on the fly. I mean, it's part of the game, right? We're constantly rotating, we're moving. We're not robots. We don't stay in our lane, per se. We move around the field. Well, when one of us gets pulled so far out of position, and the other guy doesn't fill that gap that we leave, then we get into big trouble. And that's what happens here. We're really out of position. Our center mid gets sucked into the corner, which is never a good thing, right? As a center midfielder, you need to be aware that you should never really get pulled into the corner in almost any situation. You need to be the most central player in this side of the field. And our right mid could do a better job covering here, right? We're kind of not sure who we want to cover, so we're kind of equal distance between the two. As you can see here, right? Like, we're kind of here, kind of covering. We're like, okay, he's going to throw it back, not a big deal. I don't need to cover this guy. I'm kind of covering this guy. Center mid is like, I'm going to go chase the ball. And then our target is making his way over. Now, what did we do? We left a huge gap here behind us. They have 4 guys around the ball in a decent distance away where they could play the ball around us. And we have 2 guys that kind of fell into their trap. So this guy receives it, plays it back to the guy who threw it in. Now, the 3 of us are here. We're not really covering here. We're pressing here from the middle. They play the ball up the field. This is the center mids guy right here. And he makes a run to the goal and scores. Watch this again real quick. Our center mid should be here. He gets sucked into the corner. Our right mid should be covering the pass. He's kind of just waiting to see what happens. And our striker isn't engaged in the play. He's too far in the middle of the field. So ball gets played around, up the line, and we lose the foot race, and they score. So this was a particularly bad situation that started out as a good situation, right? Even though it's a throw-in for them, it's on or it's in the attacking third. So this is where we want the ball to be. This is where we can score goals, right? If we're over here and we're pressuring properly and we're covering properly, then we turn this into a positive instead of a negative situation. All right, let's check out another one. Okay, so here's our game against SAC. Ball goes out of bounds. They go to throw it in, and let's check out our shape again. So this is another situation where our center mid gets sucked into the corner, right? Not staying disciplined, not letting the guys on this side of the field do their role or their responsibility. When we get sucked out of the middle of the field, now this is our goal back here. You can see that our center mid's way over here. Our right mid is doing a decent job of marking this guy, right? He should probably be behind him, right? We like to be kind of either shoulder to shoulder or behind. Our right back is kind of just taking space here. Should be up here helping out, right? Because there's no immediate threat in the area. He should be, this is his side of the field, this is his area. He should really be up here. In a perfect situation, our right back would be covering this guy. Our center mid would be taking away this option here. This guy's in a good position to receive the ball. They could have thrown the ball all the way back here if they wanted to. Center mid should be kind of where the ref's at, right? Kind of guarding this central area. Our left back should be more in the middle here. He doesn't need to be all the way over here. This is our left mid, I believe. Left mid got turned into the left back somehow. Our left mid should kind of be shifted over towards the middle of the field where the center mid would normally play. And our striker should be up top, right? Again, our striker is coming back to help. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys all within the goal box, right? Here's the goal box. You can see it on the ground. The field is tiny. We made the field super short for ourselves, right? Tiny, tiny, tiny. We need to make it bigger, right? Let's open this up, open this area up, let guys have responsibility more than just a few feet away from each other, and let it play out. So They throw the ball in, you can see. Guy receives it, plays it back, and then look, our center mid's in the corner here. He's not in the right area. Luckily, we have enough guys in the box. But then look, so we steal the ball, right? And then what? We have no options. No options again. Because we were all, look at us again, all so close. No one's spread out. No one's here. No one's there. No one's here. We end up losing the ball. And then look at them. They play the ball around. Move the ball really well until that pass. They should have played it out here to this guy wide open, and we would have been in trouble. But their team did a really good job here of staying spread out. And then once they lost possession, they won it back, and then they played the ball around us, right? And then look at us. Right here, we almost look like a wreck team. We got 5 guys chasing the ball. Again, shape. All about shape, boys. All right, let's check out another one. Okay, this is another throw-in in a sack game. Ball goes out of bounds. Everyone here on both teams looks like they're really slow to react, right? Not really sure where we should be on the field. So, sorry, went too far. Okay, look. All right, so they have the ball. Look at these guys. They're not even looking, right? I think the ref is calling for subs, maybe. Who knows? We're not really paying attention. They're not paying attention. This is one of those moments where we need to stay engaged. So our right mid should be up here guarding this guy, marking this guy. I believe this is our right back. He should be more in a central position. He's a little bit pulled out too far, which leaves space behind him. Our center mid should be covering this guy at this point, right? Again, sucked into the corner, right? Loves to be back here in the corner. Center mid should be in the middle of the field. Left back's in a good position, right? He's ready to cover this guy. Our left mid could shift in a little bit more, but I think he's in a decent position. And again, our target should be higher, right? What happens if they throw the ball and we win it? Then we can play the ball through, and then we're in business, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All their players are right here, besides their goalie. If we're up the field in the space, we win the ball. Boom. I mean, we're making a run. So, again, look, no pressure at all on the ball. They throw the ball in. I mean, that shouldn't happen. They play the ball into the middle. Play the ball back. I mean, look, this is good ball movement by them. Play the ball across, and then up the field. I mean, they did a great job there, right? All because that whole sequence, and then they have a scoring opportunity. That whole sequence started because we fell asleep on a throw-in. That's preventable, boys. That's something we can prevent from happening. Okay, another one. Okay, here's another situation where our opponent had poor shape, and we didn't take advantage of it. So this is our throw-in, right? Ball goes out of bounds. Now, they have 4 guys. 4 guys within, what? I don't even know. 5 yards of the ball, maybe? We need to take advantage of situations like this, boys. When the opponent is at a position, I couldn't even tell you what position these guys are playing, right? Which one's the left mid, the center mid, the striker, who knows, right? They're all so close to each other. We need to take advantage of this, right? Right here, we could have thrown the ball down the line, right? We could have had someone, like who's this taking the throw? The right mid. Our target, we could have had a target here. Maybe this is our target. Yes, this is our center mid in the orange hat. Our center mid is here. Our center mid could have been in a central position. Our target player could have been up the field. We could have thrown the ball down the field and had a quick transition. But instead, we play it short to our center mid, and then we try to get through 4 guys. Right? I mean, there's just no reason to try to do this. We had so many options here. We could have had this guy come out wide. We could have played it back, and then he could have kicked it down the field. Again, our center mid's in a central position. Hopefully it would have drawn a couple of these guys in. Our target should have been down the field, and then we could have connected down the sideline. But instead, we went for the quick throw and then kicked the ball around, and then they end up winning it back. And then look, another scoring opportunity, right? I mean, it didn't work out, but it all starts with our throw, and we had the advantage there, and we turned it into, not a good play. Okay, so to finish up talking about shape, we talked about shape on goal kicks, corner kicks, throw-ins, kickoffs. we need to talk about shape on the field as things break down. So there's situations on the field where the ball's bouncing around, it's being passed around, and maybe you get pulled out of position, right? Maybe you were playing the right mid position, but then we transitioned across the field, and maybe you got caught higher than someone else, or someone else is closer to the ball than you, but it's really your responsibility. It gets confusing, right? Things happen in soccer, and that's fine. Um, what we need to be careful of, though, is we need to recognize and be aware of when we have too many guys trying to win the ball back. So in this clip, we have 3 guys trying to win the ball from one player, and that usually isn't a good thing. Sure, it's easier to win the ball when you have 3 guys chasing after one guy, but all he has to do is pass it, and then they have an advantage somewhere else on the field. So we should never really have 3 guys on the ball. Occasionally, we might have a double team in a situation, like a situation like this. We have 2 guys chasing after this ball. That leaves a lot of guys wide open too. But there are situations where that makes sense. In this particular situation, we got a little pulled out of position. So they play the ball around. Our right back's on it. This guy decides to dribble backwards, which confuses us a little bit. And as you can see here, we now have 3 guys on the ball. We have our right mid, who's in generally the right position here, right? This is probably his responsibility. Our right back, instead of dropping out and covering, was close to the ball after he received the pass, so he thinks it's still his responsibility to be on it. And then our striker came back to get involved because we didn't have the ball, right? So he was doing the right thing. And now he got pulled a little bit too far over to the right as well. Our center mid is kind of confused, and he's even slightly involved here, right? I mean, he's playing the cover balance position, but he's probably too close to the ball as well. And look how many guys they have open. 1, 2, 3, 4, arguably 5 guys open. Now he can't connect with a few of them because we're in the way, but he could have played the ball into space, or he could have done a turn and played the ball square to one of these guys. And instead, he decided to dribble through all 3 guys and somehow was successful. As you can see here, he cuts through all 3 guys, plays the ball up. Now, we were in a good cover position there, right, in space, and we received the ball. The guy didn't make a great pass, and we ended up intercepting that pass. So now our right back's trying to get back in position, which is great. Unfortunately, our striker got tangled up here, so he's not an option up the field. And our right mid isn't an option because he's behind these players. He should really be out into space now. So our only option, because we all got pulled out of position so far, is to either try to dribble up the field or to play to the only open player who's not really open, right? Like he's in between 3 players. So the chance of having a successful pass and then something good happening off of that is very slim here. So even though we won possession, after we pressured this guy like crazy, now we have no options because we got pulled out of position so far. So watch what happens. We play the ball into space. Not a great pass. They intercept it. They turn the ball up the field and pass the ball in, and it's a goal. So what started out as what seemed like our advantage, right? We had numerical advantage here, ended up in a goal because we got pulled out of our shape, right? Our positioning was poor. We got excited and eager to win the ball, and it ended up costing us. All right, just 2 more. Okay. So this is another situation where we have 3 players pressuring the ball, and it gave the other team an open run down the field, which could have been a scoring opportunity. Again, let's start. They have the ball. Okay, so couldn't even really tell you what's going on here. It looks like our target, our left mid, and our left back are all crashing on the ball here. We're going this direction. This is their goal. Our goal's back here. This guy's making a great run, right? He sees, like, even though my teammate has 3 guys coming at him, I'm going to make a run down the field because I trust that he's going to pass the ball into space, and then we're going to have a scoring opportunity. So 3 guys chasing the ball, no one covering, so there's no pressure cover balance, right? There's pressure, no cover, and there's no balance, right? So the guy makes a great pass up the field, and then look, luckily we recover. Great run there by our left back, but we gave them a scoring opportunity, and again, it looked great. Right here, it looks like this guy's got no chance, but throwing 3 guys at the ball is never the answer, right? One guy could have done this job. This guy, the closest guy, could have pressured. We could have covered this pass. We could have balanced the field out here. We could have covered this guy, and then that guy would have no option. Then we win the ball, right? So even though we think we're helping, we think we're doing the right thing by chasing after the ball, we tend to be hurting ourselves. Okay, last one. Okay, so this is another situation where we had too many guys on the ball. So they're making a run down the field here, right? This is Coppermine. This is they're one of their speedier players. They're making a run. They get past one of us, and here we are. So we have our left back, our left mid, and our striker. And again, we have 3 guys on the ball. We don't need 3 guys on the ball. The left mid making that run back was great. He could stay with the ball. That's fine. I have no problem with the left back pushing up. It's a double team. A double team situation here is fine. We don't really need the striker to make this run back here. Because again, even if we win the ball, what are we going to do if our target player is so close to the ball? So, great move by this guy. Wins the ball from 3 of us, and then is able to have a shot on goal, and we make a save. But the point here is, this is a situation where we don't have our shape, right? We don't have our what you would say is our standard shape on the field, but we just need to be smarter, right? We don't need 3 guys to chase the ball. One guy here, then the next guy steps up, and then maybe the better thing to do here is after we miss our first tackle and the second guy steps up, maybe this guy rotates back around and then we have another go at it, rather than all 3 of us trying to crash the ball at once. I mean, look how close we get. At one point, all 3 of our guys could have touched the ball with their foot. This is a very low chance that this guy has success here, but he did a great job. I mean, he did a good move. He was able to get the ball away from all 3 players, and it turned into an almost a bad situation for us. So again, let's just be a little bit smarter about our positioning on the field, figuring out whose responsibility is what, and realizing that when 3 of us are going for the same ball, it's probably not a good thing.